The mass of men lead lives of quiet desperation. Henry David Thoreau made this observation over 150 years ago, yet it still holds true today. That quiet desperation often comes from a lingering sense that we're wasting our lives, frustrated by the passing years, and the feeling that no matter how much we want to change, nothing really does. Phillips Brooks described this struggle as the thing they ought to be beating beneath the thing they are. If we ignore these feelings for too long, we risk being forever haunted by what could have been. Nowadays, a lot of it comes from bills. You have an apartment you have to pay for. You have a car you lease. You have a wife that you have to feed. You have a child you have to raise. You have your mortgage. You have this, you have that, and that's where it all comes from. In this video, we'll explore how to break free from a life of quiet desperation and create a more fulfilling existence. We cannot change anything unless we accept it. The first step, then, is to acknowledge that a change in our way of life is necessary. One simple way to assess this is by noticing how often we struggle with feelings of regret, guilt, anxiety, or depression. Jung believed that, in the vast majority of cases, neurotic symptoms like these result from an inadequate approach to life and serve as warning signs, urging us to change. It seemed to Jung, wrote Yolanda Jacoby in her book The Way of Individuation, that the meaning of neurotic sufferings might consist in their compelling a man to come to terms with the foundation of his being and with the world, and thereby to gain a better knowledge of his limits and possibilities. Jung, therefore, emphasizes the prospective aspect of neuroses, viewing them not just as burdensome illnesses, but as meaningful signals. He believed they could serve as catalysts for personal growth and, paradoxically, even act as curative forces. Yet, when plagued by these negative emotional states, most people take the easy way out. Instead of confronting their struggles, they try to numb or escape them, turning to drugs, alcohol, or mindless distractions. But in the long run, this only worsens the problem. Jung warned against this avoidance, writing, "We may think there is a safe road, but that would be the road of death. Then nothing happens any longer. At any rate, not the right things. Anyone who takes the safe road is as good as dead." Once we accept that change is necessary, the next question arises: what kind of change leads to a fulfilling life? In the mid-20th century, psychologist Abraham Maslow sought to answer this. Unlike many of his peers who focused on studying mental illness, Maslow took a different approach. He studied those who excelled in life. This led him to a crucial insight. The most thriving individuals are those driven by self-actualization, which he described as an ongoing actualization of potentials, capacities, and talents, as fulfillment of a mission, as a fuller knowledge of and acceptance of the person's own intrinsic nature, and as an unceasing trend toward unity. Maslow was so convinced of the power of self-actualization that he made this bold declaration: if you plan on being anything less than you are capable of being, you will probably be unhappy all the days of your life. But after years of stagnation, years in which bad habits and destructive behaviors have taken root, how do we become self-actualizers? A quote often attributed to Ralph Waldo Emerson offers some guidance. Sow a thought, and you reap an action. Sow an act, and you reap a habit. Sow a habit, and you reap a character. Sow a character, and you reap a destiny. The process begins with a thought. For those seeking a more fulfilling life, this means choosing an aim or purpose to pursue. As Maslow observed, self-actualizers are often defined by a clear life mission. Many people get stuck at this stage, believing they must first discover their one true passion. The flaw in this thinking is that it ignores a crucial reality. Passion often follows skill development, not the other way around. If you're unsure where your passions lie, you likely won't find them through thought alone. Instead of overanalyzing, it's far better to choose something challenging that sparks your curiosity, without stressing over whether it's the perfect choice. However, simply selecting a goal isn't enough. That initial thought will only lead to real change if we take action and build the habits that push us forward. Having an aim is crucial. not just for the external rewards it may bring, but for the transformation it demands. Pursuing a meaningful goal forces us out of our comfort zone. It compels us to develop new skills, cultivate discipline, and realize that we're far more capable than we once believed. But for many, the struggle isn't in choosing a goal, it's in taking action. People often blame their inability to move forward on anxiety, depression, fear, or a lack of confidence. They assume that before they can act, they must first eliminate these negative emotions. This, however, is an approach often doomed to fail. These negative emotional states are largely the result of faulty behavioral patterns and a tendency to avoid the very challenges that would drive our personal growth. Meditation and introspection alone won't free us from these feelings. Instead, we must realize that we can take purposeful action despite anxiety, depression, or fear. The idea that action is the remedy for emotional distress is a core principle of Morita therapy, a Japanese school of psychotherapeutic thought. As David Reynolds, a practitioner of the school, explains, realign your life toward getting done what reality sends that needs doing. In other words, we advise you to focus more on purposeful behavior. Let the feelings take care of themselves. What I think you will find is that when you get good at doing what needs to be done in your life, when you focus on action, your feelings stop holding so much power over you. Even when difficult emotions arise, engaging in meaningful activity keeps them in perspective. They no longer consume you. They become just one part of the experience, not the whole show. The ability to act despite discomfort is a defining trait of self-actualizers. As Thomas Huxley put it, perhaps the most valuable result of all education is the ability to make yourself do the thing you have to do when it ought to be done, whether you like it or not. Maslow, too, emphasized that self-actualization does not mean eliminating all human struggles. In Toward a Psychology of Being, he noted that even the healthiest individuals experience conflict, anxiety, frustration, sadness, hurt, and guilt. No matter who you are or where you are in life, negative emotions will always arise. The real question is, do you have the courage to act despite them? Those who do will lead far richer lives than those who retreat in fear. As Emerson wisely wrote, do the thing you fear, and the death of fear is certain. One of the most effective ways to cultivate the courage to act despite fear is to reflect on the inevitability of death. The Stoic philosophers believe that those who truly grasp how brief life is are far more likely to live with intensity and courage, making the most of every moment. Steve Jobs, a man known for action, understood the power of this mindset. Remembering that I'll be dead soon, he stated, is the most important tool I've ever encountered to help me make the big choices in life. Because almost everything, all external expectations, all pride, all fear of embarrassment or failure, these things just fall away in the face of death, leaving only what is truly important. Remembering that you are going to die is the best way I know to avoid the trap of thinking you have something to lose. You are already naked. There is no reason not to follow your heart. But awareness of our mortality is a double-edged sword. If we delay too long in making the necessary changes for a fulfilling life, if we waste our time instead of striving toward our potential, this awareness will not inspire us. Instead, it will fuel growing feelings of guilt and regret. We will have chosen the so-called safe road, the road of death, as Jung put it, spending our remaining years running from the realization that we are wasting our lives. Yolanda Jacoby, in The Way of Individuation, warns of the consequences for those who take this path. Any obstruction of the natural processes of development or getting stuck on a level unsuited to one's age takes its revenge, if not immediately, then later, at the onset of the second half of life, in the form of serious crises, nervous breakdowns, and all manner of physical and psychic sufferings. Mostly, they are accompanied by vague feelings of guilt, by tormenting pangs of conscience, often not understood, in face of which the individual is helpless. He knows he is not guilty of any bad deed. He has not given way to an illicit impulse, and yet he is plagued by uncertainty, discontent, despair, and, above all, anxiety, a constant, indefinable anxiety. And in truth, he must usually be pronounced guilty. His guilt does not lie in the fact that he has a neurosis, but in the fact that, knowing he has one, he does nothing to set about curing it.